Hi there, welcome to Tarotland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Sagittarius energy, and like usual, we're going to do 2 rows. The top row is going to be high vibe Sagittarius. The bottom row is going to be a more worldly, shadowy Sagittarius energy. We've all got our dualistic nature. Some people are still debating within themselves. Should they move forward, having more hope and faith and belief in their dreams? Should they heal, grow, mature themselves, or should they keep living their life the same way they have been? And some people are debating it within themselves, and other people are done debating it within themselves. They have made the decision to move forward in hope and faith and belief in themselves and in their dreams and in love, and align themselves with the people in the world that are on that same page, and probably distance themselves from some people in their life who they might feel are kind of shadowy, maybe a little bossy or controlling or immature or manipulative in some way. And when some people are moving, life's about learning lessons, and Sagittarius energy is about learning lessons, higher education, being inspired to look at life as an adventure to be lived, and some people don't look at life as an adventure to be lived, and some people don't want to wrap their brain around this game of life. Pride comes before the fall. We can all know some people that have some growing up and maturing or healing to do, or we wish they would kind of expand their perception of how they view the world or view relationships. But some people have learned some lessons in life that they're more free to give and receive love, and some people have some lessons to learn. And so the worldly, shadowy people can be people who are still more caught up in the things of the world, things they want to indulge in, or making their life more about ego and image or money and materialism, and some shadowy people are just more about themselves, and they're kind of immature, and it's just to try to manipulate someone to get what they want in the world. So we just have to, the truth sets us free. So listen to your intuition. We all tap into Sagittarius energy. We'd like to be in relationships with people who kind of seem to have learned some of the same lessons we've learned in life about how to work cooperatively with people, and high vibe people want to do love, and more worldly, shadowy people, again, it might be wanting to stay in relationships or get in relationships or conduct themselves in ways that aren't really driven and motivated by love. So let's go look. The reason for the top row's reading is acceptance. I see the truth. Not everybody's motivated and inspired by the same things I am. Not everybody's motivated by love. You have to take a risk. It's a free will choice, but some people don't want to do love because they get hurt doing love. The reason for the bottom row's reading is some people still might, in the self-love card, maybe they haven't learned to love themselves. And then there's other people that love themselves too much, and it's all about them. Reasons why people don't move forward in more hopeful, believing energy and do love, it's from the extremes. Some people are very loving, giving people, and they have a pattern of giving to other people at the detriment of themselves. And other people are very egotistical and self-centered, and it's all about them. So let's go look at the bottom row. We have the trust card sideways, like some people lack trust in listening to their intuition. Why would people not want to listen to their intuition? Because we've all listened to our intuition before, and sometimes it didn't work out the way we wanted, right? But the whole thing is, we were drawn and attracted to people because we had lessons to learn from them. High vibe Sagittarius energy. Life is an adventure. We are drawn and attracted to people because we have lessons to learn from them. We come in contact with all these different people to help us get clear about our truth. And sometimes in our life, we don't know really what our truth is yet. Well, I think I want to do this, so then we go do that. And then it's like, oh, wait. This isn't quite, or I might have wanted to do that for a period of time, but I wasn't planning to live my life that way forever. Or, wait, that was right for that period of time, but now I'm ready to move forward in life differently. Do you want to come with and do that next phase of life with me differently? Just like we did age 15 to 18 to 21 to 25. And sometimes when we're ready to move forward, some other people aren't ready to move forward. And we all, I think one of life lessons is to learn to listen to our intuition. How many times do we get in a relationship or something and our intuition was screaming at us, I don't think you should do that. I don't think that's a good idea. But, pride comes before the fall. We want to do what we want to do. I want to go do that. I'm sure I'll love it. I'm sure it'll turn out great. And then we learn some difficult lessons in life. Fear reverse, nourishment, sovereignty, and creation. So, fear in reverse, sometimes when we're kind of naive and gullible, there are things we should be more fearful of, but we aren't. And then the nourishment and the sovereignty card, they kind of remind me of like Nine of Pentacles, Virgo energy. In our more worldly nature, there's these things of the world we want to go indulge in. There's these things that we're sure this is going to work out the way we want. And sometimes we can be kind of naive and gullible. And we get into these situations in our life because Virgo energy is earth sign energy, and it can be based on what we want to invest our time, energy, and effort into, these things that we want in the world. And we go invest in those things. And it would all turn out great if everyone, every job, every friendship, every romantic relationship we got in, if the people that we got in relationship with also wanted to work with us cooperatively. But what they might want to create and what we might want to create could be different. Some people, I want it to be more about me. What? Well, I'm my own high vibe Virgo energy. I'm like my own individual person. I have my own unique talent, skills, and interests. I have my own dreams. I have my ideas of what I wanted to create, and they had their ideas of what they wanted to create. And sometimes some people are kind of shadowy, and they do want it to be more about them. They indulge their more worldly, defensive, egoic, whatever shadowy trait and characteristic they've got. Bossy, controlling, self-centered, stubborn, immature, whatever. And their idea of what they want to create is, I do this with myself, and I want you to indulge me in this way too. But it's kind of like giving up your dreams and your sovereignty to make your life all about them and their dreams and their wants and their needs and their ego or their fear or their bossy nature or their immature nature, whatever it is. And we can all go through a phase of life like that. And for a long time, with the nourishment and the sovereignty card, we can all get in new situations, and we can put a lot of time, effort to try to make things work. But then eventually we could kind of realize at a certain point in time that what we want to manifest is different. It's like, well, I thought we were both going to do this work within ourselves to heal from past pain and heartbreak and some of our fears and being more about ourselves, to love ourselves, and the relationship was going to go to the next level where we're both working towards a common goal, and everybody's kind of willing to put aside it kind of being more about them, to realize that it's about both of us, or all of us, and we're all working for the common goal. And that's when we can sometimes find out that some people are like, well, no, I thought it was going to be more about me. The scales should kind of be tipped in my favor a little bit, and it's more about me. And that's when it can be really challenging, because there could be, the Nine of Pentacles type energy or the Knight of Pentacles energy. It can represent a job, a friendship, family dynamics, romantic relationships. And it could have seemed very solid, stable, like we were going to be in this long term. But then something can happen where we just kind of realize, high vibe Virgo energy that we can all tap into. can be where people do some of this inner work within themselves to learn to love themselves and believe in themselves and temper some of their fears and their insecurities and their more codependent nature. And, you know, like, do I listen to my intuition? When a card is in reverse, there can be, I mean, there's like a lot of it. You know, we all can have a lot of fears about being more independent. We like, you know, human beings like to work together with other people and have community, but sometimes we haven't really learned to love ourselves, don't feel very stable and grounded within ourselves, that we can have a lot of fear about being more independent or single or trusting in our own unique talent, skills, and interests, and we can get in some jobs or relationships with people to provide us and have that more feeling more stable and grounded within us. But that can be human beingness. But what do we do when we're in that environment? Some people, when they're in those type of environments, they do this work within themselves. You know, maybe not right away, you know, but it's somewhere. Generally, if people have, you know, again, Virgo energy can be that you're in something that seems stable and grounded, you know, and that's when some people start to, it kind of frees them up to kind of really think about what they would like. I mean, when you have a job, you don't have to be sitting and worrying about another job, you know, and you can have the flexibility to think about, you know, where do I want to go from here? And do I love and believe in myself enough to believe that if I learn skills, say at this job, I'm hoping I'd like to maybe stay here, but is there room for advancement? Am I going to get a pay raise? You know, and if there's not at a certain period of time, shadowy energy can be where it starts to feel stagnant and dead, like there's nothing new to learn there. And sometimes that can happen in our friendships too, right? When we were at a certain stage of life, we were living life at that stage of life, hanging out with other people that were at that stage of life. But we could kind of be inspired to, you know, go to the next stage of life, you know, of just, you know, there comes a point in time that the things that I used to invest my time, energy, and effort into, and the habits that I had, and the ways I enjoyed entertaining myself in a way, there comes a point in time where, you know, it does get kind of old and stagnant, like, my goodness, you could love bowling and you did bowling for 10 years. You know, there comes a time where maybe it's like, you know, maybe instead I don't want to keep going bowling. You know, I'd like to try out something else. Can we go do something else on a Friday night? And you could have some people that they live their life a certain way. It's like, oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine not doing this on my Friday night, whatever it is, you know, and it's like, you know, I'm just kind of thinking that there's other things that I want to explore in life, and I think high vibe people offer love and encouragement to people in their life because they love them. Do you want to come with me? Maybe every other Friday you could go do this with me. And, you know, and if not them, then maybe you would start to look for some other people that share some of those interests that you have. And that can be when some people in our life, though, don't like that because maybe the way you used to live your life, view life, the things that you partook in, you know, it's kind of like you've changed. Well, we all used to do that because of these reasons, or we were friends because of these reasons, or we got in a romantic relationship because of these reasons, or, you know, it was this common thing that we did together that was kind of the thing that got us together because of commonality or something. But the whole thing is, you know, we don't stay stagnant. Some people do free willingly, and other people, as time goes by in life, they don't want to keep being the exact same person they were 5 years ago. You know, I've been there, I've done that. I'm kind of ready to spread my wings, face my fears and insecurities of maybe just checking out something different. And then the action card, which I kind of view as an 8 of Wands Sagittarius energy. I'm kind of motivated and inspired to just go to the next phase of life. You know, we can all go through phases of life, like maybe we go through a period when we're younger where we're definitely going to the bar all the time, and after a while it's like, oh my gosh, we went to the bar every Friday and Saturday night for the last 5 years, you know? How about we just go to dinner and a movie? Or how about we do take up bowling? Or, you know, just something to kind of add some energy into our life that's a little different, a little exciting, to get us out of stagnancy. And then in the faith card of, this is a person who's pregnant, and the feminine figures can represent how we think and feel. I think my intuition is telling me that I'm just kind of ready to give birth to something new. And again, you know, we're willing to go into unknown territory, which can be scary. And that's why some people don't want to do it. It's like, well, I don't know what that would be like, and I've never done that, and I've never been there, and I've never hung out with people like that, or I've, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I want to stay in my comfort zone where I know how everything works, and I'm used to these type of people, and I'm used to doing this. And then some people just aren't ready to detach from an old way of living life, an old way of viewing life, certain vices or habits, ways of viewing the world. Because it might mean they would also have to detach from some old ways and habits or people and step out of their comfort zone. And that can be scary, and that can be a reason why some people don't move forward in life differently. But I believe that life-giving energy is about going with the flow and continuing to heal and grow and mature yourself and face your fears and insecurities to kind of grow to your full potential. And I think the people who listen to their intuition, they're not resisting the flow of life. And I think they have life-giving energy represented by God at the big picture, kind of in alignment with them. When we're refusing to change, and that can be us in our more worldly, prideful nature. No, I don't have to go with the flow of life. No, I don't have to heal or grow or mature myself or face my fears or insecurities. That's true, they don't have to. They can keep creating this over and over and over because they love it. I just think they're kind of resisting the natural flow of life, and I think it causes them inner conflict because the seeds of both were planted within us. It's like we have the knowledge of the tree and good and evil, and the seeds of both are within us, wanting, you know, our high vibe nature of facing our fears and growing and healing is within us, and our more worldly, prideful, defensive, shadowy, wanting to stay stagnant, unchanged, not stepping out of our comfort zone. We can do that. I just think it causes us a lot of inner conflict because I view the change card kind of like the 5 of Wands. There's a part of us in our creative, inspired nature that's kind of trying to get us to go to the next phase of life, to go with the flow, deal with your fears and insecurities about it. And some people are like, no, I won't go. And I think it causes inner conflict within them. We're meant to keep like shedding old layers of ourselves to give birth to new layers of ourselves. You know, just like when we were 15, it was perfect to be 15, but when we're getting closer to 18, it's time to detach from more of our 15-year-old ways of being and viewing life and viewing relationships, and to face our fears about shedding an old layer of ourselves to believe that we can be like an 18-year-old. And that does require that some of the old things that we used to do, we detach from. And we do move into unknown territory. But we have hope and faith and belief that I think I can do it, you know? And then with the growth card there, that I can shed a layer of my more worldly nature, and how I think and feel, I can give birth to a new way of viewing life. You know, our perception of the world and how we view ourselves and how we view other people, hopefully during our life, expands and grows as we get more experience in life. And that's when we have new beginnings. You know, we see the truth. We're willing to be more, like, go to that next phase of life. Like, we're seeds planted in the earth, and there's all these aspects of ourself that we could give birth to, but we kind of got to do them in a certain order to a degree because we got these lessons to learn in life. And then when it's kind of time, where it's time for us to, the seed to grow, pop its head out from the earth, you know, we have to put ourselves out there differently and be willing to take that risk that I think I can, you know, at that next phase of life. But some people have an extreme fear of doing that. And they really want to stay in their comfort zone. They might want to create something new, but because they kind of indulge themselves in their fear and their insecurity, and I don't think I can, or what would people say if I were to be more authentically myself? What if I go out there and I fail? Well, that's high vibe Sagittarius. Life's about learning lessons. And just like little kids walking in the world, we're like kids walking in the world all our life. We're going to hit our head on the end table, metaphorically. We're going to run into walls. Do we have that drive and ambition within us that I think I can? I'm going to pick myself back up again, and I am not going to give up. And no matter how long it takes, I have hope and faith and belief that I can, like, manifest my dreams into reality. And I'm going to keep persevering. At what time in our life did we give up, unwilling to take risks in life? To, you know, sometimes some people can be so much up in their ego that I don't dare do that or pursue that. What if it doesn't work out the way I want? Well, get out of your ego about it. You know, we pick ourselves back up. We learn the lesson we were meant to learn about why that didn't work out. We make corrections and adjustments. We're willing to deal with the truth. And we make the adjustments and we go at it again, you know? I mean, we're lucky that little children who have free will also, but they are bound and determined. They see other people in the world. Wow, they're walking, they're running, they're skipping rope, they're riding bike, they're going down the slide. I want to do that. And they don't even question it. It is no matter how many times they fall down, they get back up. Yeah, they might cry for a while. We might cry for a while. But I am bound and determined to not give up my dreams. I'm going to keep loving and believing in myself that I can change. And I'm going to learn the lessons I learn from the mistakes I've made. I have to see what I need to change in myself. And I also need to see what kind of people am I hanging around with. Am I hanging around with people who push me down? I need to quit hanging out with people who push me down. You know, am I hanging around with people who are loving and encouraging and supportive? I have the free will choice to do that. Or do I spend a lot of time and effort trying to get other people to change, to love themselves? But when I met them, I could have known that's not the type of person they were. But that can be us kind of in our ego. Oh no, I'm going to change you. I'm going to do all this work and I'm going to love you and I'm going to encourage you. And even though when I met you in your free will, you were defensive or you're bossy or you're controlling or you're immature or whatever, I'm going to change you. Well, who really, once you become adults, you know, we have free will. We've come to our conclusions in life about how we want to live life. Who kind of really wants people to be trying to be like a parent to us? You know, and then there's some people who want you to play that role in their life, but they never plan to change. This is a great relationship. I'm more about the world. You're more about nurturing and loving people. Perfect. This is my dream life. This is what I always wanted to manifest. But the loving, encouraging people were like, well, I thought you were going to become someone who is loving and encouraging and nurturing. Well, no, that's not who I am. You're that way and I'm this way. Perfect. And though we could love people, we end up realizing, I don't think my dream's going to come into reality. I was under the illusion, that's what shadowy energy can be about. I wasn't dealing with the truth. I was under the illusion that other people would be motivated and inspired by the same things I am. Even though when I met them, I knew they were kind of maybe motivated and inspired by that, or they would have been that type of person to begin with. And then we're kind of illuminated to the truth that the only person I can change is me. And I can love people, but if people, I have come to see that the way they want to move forward in a relationship could maybe be from pride or ego or manipulation or defensiveness or more about indulging in these things of the world or ego or image. And that's really, I've realized, isn't how I want to keep living in my life. That's when high vibe people are like, I wish you peace, but I gotta go. Because I do want to give birth to something new, and my intuition is telling me that maybe I wasn't wanting to deal with the truth here. And I could stay in it because I have my own inner conflict about change and believing in myself and believing in my dreams. But then if we're a loving, giving, nurturing, encouraging person, but we're in a relationship with someone who isn't quite that, or over time has become not that, or, it's just not going to go to like the next phase and other people are moving forward kind of in that next phase, we could find out that some of the people that we're in a relationship with could do things purposely to cause us inner conflict about loving and believing in ourselves, because they don't want us to change, because they want us to keep doing this certain way of interacting in like a relationship that they're okay with, but we're no longer okay with. We have these certain patterns and ways of interacting with people because of how we view life, how we view others, how we view relationships, what we think is just and fair, and if some people are still operating out of codependency or fear, and the other people aren't still in that same more codependent or fearful energy, and they've done this inner work within themselves to feel more stable and grounded within themselves internally, so they're less in codependent energy, but they love the people they're in a relationship with, and I want you to move forward with me. We can't make other people deal with their own inner conflict and free themselves from the things that manipulate them. It's a free will choice. And when they're ready, they'll be ready, and some of them will never be ready. They have free will, and we just have to see the truth of it. But like I say, it could cause us inner conflict to detach from some of those people because we really wanted to move forward to the next phase of life with them. But we could kind of realize that they seem to have some inner conflict about that. And then, like I say, some of them could have done some hurtful or unkind or manipulative things to stop us from loving and believing in ourselves. And that's when we can kind of realize that, they're not ready to move forward in a more just or fair or mature or authentic or loving way. They want the relationship to be the way it was. We're not that same person anymore. And not everybody. Some people have inner conflict with people moving forward in life differently. Other people are like, I'm not there. I wish you peace, love, and joy. I hope it works out for you, but I'm not ready to do that. I'm going to stay here. We wish them peace, love, and joy. We can detach and quit going out with or dating people and kind of hanging around people as much as we used to, because we're not on the same page, and nobody wishes each other ill will, but some people do. Some people really get in their ego about it. The more someone is more about themselves, and you should indulge me and you should love me, and this is the way I viewed it, and I didn't think anybody was ever going to change, and I thought we were going to do it this way forever. Well, for some of those people, it might kind of get them, the Five of Wands, Leo energy, it can kind of get them in their ego. Why are you inspired to give birth to something new? Why are you more bold and brave and confident than me? Why did you even do that work to heal and grow and mature yourself? I don't want to do that work within myself to heal or grow, heal from my past pain and heartbreak or my self-limiting beliefs. And they could be mad that you're no longer doing life the way they thought you both were going to do life forever. But life is about that you don't stay the same, you know? And if we still feel like we're kind of on the same path and have the same end goal, you know, again, maybe we don't hang out with people as much as we did, but some people can still wish those people peace and hope it all works out for you. And yeah, we don't hang out as much, or you moved, but you know, and then there's other people who really don't like it, you know, and they could have inner conflict that you might be more authentically yourself. You might not make your life more about conforming to the world, and maybe they have a lot of things that manipulate them that they aren't willing to free themselves from, you know. We can either make our life about conforming to the world, or we go live our authentic life. It's like, I'm offering people, I'm not out to hurt anyone. I'm not trying to manipulate anyone, control anyone. I'm just listening to my intuition and not making, you know, I just want to live my authentic life. I want to go get in the career field I really love. I want to hang out with people who are loving and encouraging. You might hang out with people that maybe try to manipulate you. You might want me to stay in a relationship with you and let those same people or the world or ego or image or something manipulate me. But I did the work within myself, and those things don't manipulate me the way they manipulate you. And then I could see that, you know, you kind of maybe wanted me to let those things manipulate me, and you didn't want me to be maybe more inspired to be more authentically myself because you're maybe not more authentically yourself. But we're either kind of living an illusion. You know, initially we get into things, but then why are we all not kind of moving forward and growing and healing and maturing together? And we could know that the reason we could initially stay in it or keep staying in it, yes, we do have love for them, but then we have to realize that some people use the love that we have for them to try to manipulate us. Some people try to control us. Some people try to instill fear and insecurity and codependency on us. You know, it's like trying to use the love that we have for them to try to control and manipulate us, and that's not love. And initially things could seem like they went really well, but then maybe they got not so well, you know. And so we have people in our life. We went through a phase of life. Some of the people in our life are on the same page as us, and they're going to go with us to the next phase of life. But there's going to be, so the high vibe people are kind of like, you know, harnessing these same energies. I guess the only one I really talked about here much was Virgo and Sagittarius. The people in our life that harness high vibe, Virgo, and Sagittarius are people who are willing to do this inner work, to free themselves from things that manipulate them, their pride, their ego, their fear, their codependent nature, their fearful nature, to move forward with us, to learn lessons in life, get out of their more egoic defensive nature. But there's always going to be some people in our life who aren't going to go to that next phase of life with us, because in their Sagittarius, Virgo energy, they could be more motivated and inspired to keep staying at that phase of life. Maybe not being more independent in the world, maybe not being more authentically themselves in the world, or just like to indulge and make their life more about ego or image or status or money or indulgence of some sort. And that's our free will choice, and we just see the truth of it. You have the free will to create the life that makes you feel safe, comfortable, that you enjoy. I've just realized that's not my truth. At one time, that could have been my truth. But it is causing me all this inner conflict because I'm kind of inspired to want to face my fears to give birth to being more authentically myself. Because that's what high vibe energy is about. Being more independent of the things that manipulate you and freeing yourself from those things and expanding your viewpoint of yourself and the world around you and what you believe is possible so that we can give birth to new things in the world and within our own life. So let's go look at the top row. We have resistance. We have a card not showing itself, pleasure and attraction, and acceptance. You know, we all want to be in relationships with people who are on the same page as us, kind of. And when our intuition is telling us the way I'm living my life, and therefore the people I have in my life, that I kind of think we're not really motivated and inspired by the same things or trying to manifest the same things, or what drives and motivates us is different. And the high vibe people listen to their intuition and love to guide their decisions. And though I could love this person or these people, I'm ready to give birth to something new. If I've been offering them love and encouragement to move forward with me, but they keep kind of resisting, I could realize, you know, we harness this energy differently. The discernment card. So I kind of look at the discernment card as, well, kind of like a Seven of Pentacles about, you know, our philosophy of life, the things that we want to invest in, the things that motivate and inspire us. I also kind of look at it as like a justice card of what we think is just and fair. And we could realize that maybe some of the people that we could have been in a relationship with the clouds up here too, it could be that some people don't want to deal with the truth. They want to stay in denial of some truth. They might want to hold on to us just like we might want to hold on to them. But the truth sets some people free. For a long time, they could have not wanted to see the truth and thought, no, this is going to work. No, I can stay in this job. No, I can keep living my life like this. But it just kept causing them more and more inner conflict because their intuition was like telling them, this is not aligned with your truth. At one time you thought it was. We come in contact with all these different people to help us get clear about our truth. And our intuition is telling us maybe that we don't think it's just and fair. Again, our philosophy of life could be different. One may be more motivated by themselves or the world or ego or image or indulgence, and other people a little more motivated by love and deep, meaningful relationships. And what one person thinks is just and fair, other people don't think is just and fair. And if we had some people in our life who might have inner conflict about being more creative and inspired in their life and stepping outside their comfort zone, and we really don't have that kind of limitation within us, you know, what to us could seem normal, they're just like, oh my gosh, how do you do that? And oh my gosh, I could never live my life like that. And it's just because people have a lot of things that manipulate them. And even though we're initially resistant, and we could hope that other people would do this work within themselves, and that they'd be inspired to look at life from like a higher perspective, or have some more hope and faith and belief in themselves, or that they would do this work within themselves about the things that manipulate them. There comes a point in time, and everybody's got to learn lessons the hard way, and we might know some people. Shadowy Sagittarius could be some people who are immature, some people who are immature players, some people that just got lessons to learn in life, like to maybe be indulged in a relationship in some way. And our intuition is telling them we can't live our life that way anymore. And we do this work within ourselves to get balanced within ourselves, to offset our own fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs. And that's something that some people don't know about you, that you have done this inner work within yourself. Because sometimes shadowy energy can be people who try to create this illusion. Oh, I've healed, I've grown, I've matured, I'm this more stable, grounded, nurturing, loving person than they really are. And some of those people, their whole life is about living more from their mind than their heart, trying to confuse people about the truth of who they are. And you don't want to be in relationships with people who are just trying to create an illusion and confuse people about the truth of who they are. High vibe energy is people who are inspired to be like authentically themselves in the world. I don't want to try to manipulate people. I don't want other people to try to manipulate me. I want people who are authentic. People who are loving and warm and nurturing and encouraging. Because that's just the truth of who they are. And some people just try to present themselves as being that type of person, so people who are like that will get in a relationship with them and invest in a relationship with them. And then they hope that even as time goes by, if the people they're in a relationship with are like, wait a minute, you don't really seem to be who you presented yourself to be. You might be acting more, and I'm getting the impression that it's more about you, or more about the ego or the image or the status or the money or something. And you seem like we're not really going to bring the dream into reality. I thought we were on the same page, and they're like, well, I thought I was. And for some of them, we've all got these lessons learned in life. And there could be some people who it's like, oh, I'm sure if I got in a relationship, I might be kind of defensive. I might have these shadowy traits or characteristics, again, bossy or immature or kind of self-centered or whatever. Oh, I'm sure if I got in a relationship with a loving, nurturing person, I am sure I would choose to detach from that and become more emotionally mature. Well, then, when it comes to them having to do that or not, some people were willing to do that, and some people in our life weren't. Just like when we were in some relationships, we weren't willing to detach from some ways of being, and then in some other relationships, we were. And part of it can just be, when we're ready, we're ready. And when we're ready to move forward in life differently, we will move forward in life differently. And it really has more to do with us than kind of the people around us. But if we do have people around us who are trying to, if we have people indulging us in our poor behavior, there's less likelihood probably that we would change. But if we have people not letting us be more authentic to who we are, that might be a catalyst for us to work through some of our issues. Or if we have people that we feel are trying to manipulate us or control us, then that could force us and be a catalyst to make us do some of this inner work and work through our issues, to see through the illusion and the things of how we do need to grow up and mature, because some of the people we could be hanging out with are acting that same way, and it's like, ow, I don't really like that. But then we're inspired to let love and intuition guide us. instead of our more worldly nature, our immature nature, our codependent nature, our ego. And then I think the high vibe people communicate with other people in the world who they think are more on the same page as them. And some of the shadowy people who liked you being in their life, they didn't want you to maybe learn to love and believe in yourself and be more bold and brave and confident and be inspired to live your more authentic life, because then you wouldn't do life the way they wanted you to, you know, and that how they live their life is how you lived your life at one time. And initially, again, they could have tried to do things, but instead of being truthful and honest, shadowy energy can be where people try to control you or manipulate you or instill fear and insecurity within you to not like love and believe in yourself or something, so that you would keep doing the relationship the way, kind of indulging them in their poor behavior, which maybe initially you didn't want to see the truth of, or they weren't really showing it initially, and maybe later it's kind of like people could wear a false mask for a long time, but eventually, you know, it's kind of like if a person has an icky voice in their head and they don't have like a loving, encouraging, supportive voice in their own head, eventually they don't like it just being in their head, and what's in them comes out. And then it's like, wow, either I realize you're kind of full of yourself, or I kind of realize you have a problem. You don't love yourself, so you don't like other people loving and believing in themselves. And it gets you in kind of competitive energy or defensive energy. And then instead of choosing to do the work within yourself about why you feel that way, you act out in these more shadowy ways of being. And I don't want to be in a relationship with people who act like that. And even though I could have wanted to hold on to you, my intuition is telling me to distance myself and to listen to my intuition. And when some of you distance yourself from some people, and like some people are distancing themselves from some people right now, it could put a lot of fear in some people, because if there's someone in the nourishment card that really hasn't learned how to harness high vibe Virgo energy, and they might not know how to like fill their own cup emotionally in a way and be like loving and encouraging and stuff to themselves, so they look to be in relationship for other people to make them feel more stable and grounded within themselves, those people would probably go get in another relationship right away in order to make themselves feel loved, or to, if there's someone who views themselves as a loving person and other people didn't view them as a loving person, for them to try to validate to themselves that, no, I'm a loving person. I'll go get in a relationship with someone and I'll basically do this whole illusion again with someone else to validate to myself that I'm this loving person. But the same thing could happen with the next people they get in a relationship with. You know, it's one thing for people to create an illusion they're a loving person, and initially you can get in a relationship with them and they do seem kind of loving and nurturing and all of that. But as time goes by, you kind of realize that either they do have a lot of fears and insecurities that they don't deal with and they weren't showing you. They have a problem trusting other people with the trust card sideways. They could have a lot of inner conflict of being more kind of open and free, in a way of freely giving to themselves from an energy of love in a relationship. And that's when other people start to have a problem staying in a relationship with them. It initially can start out and be good, and it can even be good for a long time. And I think as we get older, when we're young, it's like age 15, 18, 21, 25, we're changing a lot and we have a lot of new things that we're learning. And so we go through a lot of different phases in a hurry. But when we get older, I think those blocks of time could be more like 5 years or 10 years because, we're doing kind of bigger things that are more long-term things. When we were young, it was like, oh my gosh, I got to move out of home for the first time. Oh my gosh, I got to get a job for the first time. I got to learn how to drive. But then we've learned all those things, and now we're kind of settled in the more adult world. And now it's about, working together in a more long-term, stable relationship. And then again, some people, they could use their charm, their sexuality, their charisma, their looks, all those things to just kind of indulge themselves in a relationship. And it's all about indulging themselves, immature Sagittarius energy, male or female. And they really have a problem about change. And people can be in a relationship with them for a long time and think it's great. But when they want to give birth to something new and they'd like the relationship to go to the next level, or people to maybe, detach from some old ways of being to be more hopeful and believing, that's when the relationship could end. And some of the people that are like that could be either going through a new phase of trying to get someone new in a relationship, or the person they're in a relationship with is trying to get it to go to the next level. And that's when they're going to see that this person has some inner conflict about moving forward in life differently. And that's when the people that are in relationship with them are going to have to decide for themselves, am I going to stay in it even though I have inner conflict with it staying the same? And in whatever kind of shadowy ways either that it's kind of stuck and stagnant and we're never going to do anything different, or that I've started to realize someone is kind of shadowy. They are kind of manipulative. They are kind of immature. They are kind of full of themselves or something, Then am I willing to do this work within myself? And some people are just in the beginning stages of it. Other people have already went through it. They're already moving on, accepting that some of the people in their life, that they're not on the same page at all. And they've accepted that, and they're moving on, and they're communicating and moving forward with other people in their life. There could be someone that you're attracted to. Some of you have already gotten in new jobs, friendships, or relationships. Some of you will be. So what's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Sagittarius energy that they might not see coming up? Okay. The Four of Swords, the Queen of Swords, and the Five of Swords, because of the Six of Cups and the Fool. Well, it's a process. There's a part of us that we all like to stay in our comfort zone. That's kind of what the Six of Cups talks about. Well, maybe I should just do this. And maybe I should keep living my life like this and keep maybe staying in relationship with people who are like that, or go back and get in relationship with some of the people who I know are like that. And then I don't have to do this work to keep loving and believing in myself and stepping out of my comfort zone. And there might be some people who you might know emotionally would want to be in a relationship with you if you are willing to live your life this way. And there can be a part of you that wants to repeat that old pattern so you don't have to go step out of your comfort zone. But you keep reflecting on the truth. And you keep looking at life from a higher perspective. And the dream you have for yourself is different than what some of the other people in your life, their idea of the dream life and the dream relationship. And if you were to go back into that type of relationship, it would just cause you a lot of mental conflict because they're repeating an old pattern, a way of being in relationships or workplaces or friendships. I've already been in relationships and friendships with people who kind of act like that, and I want to move forward with people who have more hope and faith and belief and love, look at life from a higher perspective, adhere to a higher truth and justice, who also have healed from past pain and heartbreak, who've also looked at life from a higher perspective, who also have mental conflict about repeating some of these old dynamics of ways of interacting in a relationship. And you're ready to go on a new journey. And if there's people in your life, whether they're people from your past, your present, or your future, who have done the same work that you've done and they're willing to go on that journey with you in that way, those are people that you will go on that journey with. But there can be people who something in their life didn't work out the way they wanted, and you could look, like you're this Justin Fair and you're going to look victorious or successful, or you're this loving, nurturing person and they want to go with you, but you're like, you might communicate with people. The swords can talk about communication. You might offer peace and truth to some people, but you're going to tell them the truth about the lessons you've learned and probably the patterns of relationship dynamics that you learn lessons from that you don't have an interest in repeating. And that'll be enough to make some people say, yeah, I need to go. It's like, yes, you probably do need to go. Because they want to maybe get in a relationship more and want you to be in the relationship with them, maybe more for the ego or the image or the status or pride or ego or competitiveness. And it's like, I don't want to be in a relationship for those reasons, and I don't want someone to get in a relationship with me because of those reasons. Do you want to heal a relationship and be in a deep, meaningful relationship? Do you look at life from a higher perspective, or are you still caught up all about yourself or the world or ego and image? We all put in work and effort to have stability and security and enjoy the finer things. Are you willing to also equally balance? The Four of Swords is Libra energy represented by the scales of justice. Yes, we want those things of the world. Yes, we'd like to be in a relationship. Yes, we'd like to enjoy some of those things in the world. But we do it from working together cooperatively, from love. And it's a deep, meaningful relationship, having hope and faith and belief in love. And if that's not where you're at, and you're doing it more for the ego or the image, or you feel betrayed, or you want someone else to feel betrayed, or you're in your competitive energy, later. See ya. You gotta go find someone else to be in a relationship with. And there's other people that are going to communicate their truth to you, that they're on the same page as you. They also, the fives, can talk about change. They also have changed. They're not the same person they were before. And they've done this work within themselves, and they're ready to go on that new journey with you. As you do this work within yourself and you stand in your truth and you reconcile yourself to the past and you don't repeat some of these poor past patterns of taking action out of pride or ego or immaturity or codependency or lust or greed, and you stand in your truth and maintain balance within yourself, and you keep having hope and faith and belief in your dreams, there's going to be other people who see that about you, that view you as someone they could have their dreams come into reality with. And those are the people that you will work with and go on this new journey with. What about the people, who harness a more worldly, shadowy Sagittarius energy, what they don't see coming? The Eight of Swords, the Ten of Pentacles, the Eight of Cups, the High Priestess, the Queen of Cups, because of the Death card and the Queen of Wands. We all could have been, and like some of the more worldly, shadowy people, they're not listening to their intuition and their more creative, inspired nature. They're kind of maybe still living a little bit more from their mind than their heart and their ego, making their life a little bit more about themselves or the world and indulging themselves in those things, and they're sure those things are going to make them happy, and they want to keep moving forward, kind of hiding their more loving, creative, inspired nature. And some people aren't willing to do that anymore. And they did not see that coming. That some of the people in their life said, nope, I'm done. I've been offering you love and encouragement. I could have been, in my ego, I could have been motivated and inspired to indulge in those things too, but I've realized they just keep me up in a mental prison. And I don't want to live my life or be in relationships with people where I'm in a mental prison or other people try to manipulate or control me or get me up in a mental prison. I focused on love. And I did this work within myself to love myself, to no longer get caught up in the illusion of my fear and my insecurity and my ego. And I decided I want to be happy. And I am listening to my intuition and love to guide the decisions that I'm making in my life now. And I'm emotionally detaching from this old way of living life. I'm putting an end to letting my ego nature and all those shadowy ways of being that I could have mentioned. I saw the truth. My foundation needed to offer myself love and listen to my intuition instead of my fear or my insecurity to guide my decisions. Because if I keep letting my fear or my insecurity or my codependent nature or whatever, or my immature nature run my life, I'm going to be hanging out with people that are in that energy to some degree. So it starts with me. The only person I can change is me. So I decided to love me. And I got out of my head and I got into my emotions and my intuition, and I worked through my emotional confusion and I worked through my fears and my insecurities. And now I'm detaching. When I detach from aligning with that within me, I'm going to end up kind of distancing myself and not hanging out with or ending jobs and relationships with people and detaching from them because I realize their truth is not my truth. And I want to go get in relationships and invest in the people in my life who I think harness these energies in a more high vibrational way than a more worldly, shadowy way. And some of the shadowy, worldly people did not see that coming. I never thought you'd love and believe in yourself. I never thought you'd get out of your ego. I thought you were up in your head about the world and ego and image or money and materialism or indulgence. I didn't think you were ever going to love and believe in yourself because they don't kind of do that. So they didn't think you would either. Another thing some of the shadowy people don't see coming, if they keep getting in if they don't do this work within themselves and they keep refusing to change and they keep wanting to keep doing life the way they've been doing it, if they're in a current relationship with someone and that person is someone who has hope and faith and belief and love, those people could be leaving them too. It's like, shit. Why can't I stop someone from listening to their intuition about me? Why do these people, they don't want to listen to their intuition and go with the flow and grow and heal and mature themselves. And they're looking for someone else who doesn't listen to their intuition about them. And, as people go through life, they start to learn to listen to their intuition. It can get harder and harder to find people. You have to keep getting younger and younger people as you keep getting older and older. Because they need to find someone who hasn't already learned these kind of lessons about these kind of people. But they might have someone. Yeah, and some of those people thought, oh, I'll just go get another loving person. They're a dime a dozen. I'm sure I can manipulate that person. I'm sure I can get that person to not love and believe in themselves. Or maybe they experienced something in their life that had them up in a mental prison because something didn't work out the way they wanted. I bet I can manipulate them. And some of those people are realizing, You create an illusion that you're willing to bring a dream into reality and move forward in love, but it's just really, it's never going to come into reality here. Or your idea of it is that you get to be manipulative or immature or whatever, and no, that's not going to work. And they could have new people ending a relationship with them. Ultimately, if they're not willing to heal or grow or mature themselves in some way, ultimately they're going to end up kind of being in a relationship with someone who's like themselves. And they might be in a mental prison about it. Because the only people who might be willing to keep staying in a relationship with them is other people who are more about ego and image and money and materialism, who are willing to indulge this person in their shadowy ways of being because they don't really want to do love either. And it could be an emotionally shallow, superficial relationship, but everybody's going to stay in it and keep moving forward with it because of the ego or the image. But everybody's just trying to manipulate each other because neither one of them really want to do love. And both of them are creating this illusion that it's love. But it could be just because they're both in a mental prison about love. I want to look like I have what other people have. But when I was in relationships with people who challenged me to deal with some of my issues, I didn't want to do it. So I'm going to go get in a relationship with someone who seems to be more like me. Some of these people could have some people that they didn't think would not love and believe in themselves. And they could be surprised at the people in their life that are willing to stay in a relationship with and the people who aren't. But again, some of the people who come to get in a relationship with, they could be very kind of egotistical and self-centered. You look like you have these things of the world. That's what I want to manifest. It doesn't have anything to do with love, and I don't really want to do love. If I wanted to do love, I would have maybe gotten in a relationship with someone else. I'm kind of a little bit more about myself. I'm kind of competitive in the world. I'm kind of immature, and that's what I want to keep giving birth to. I don't want to change either. How about you? Are you more motivated by the things of the world or indulging in these things? Perfect. Me too. Let's stay in a relationship together. But I think sometimes shadowy people don't kind of like being in a relationship. You know, we all thrive best and like to be in relationships with people who are loving and nurturing and supportive and encouraging. But it's unjust and unfair for people who aren't like that to try to manipulate other people, kind of like commit fraud, get them in a relationship with them, and then once they get them in a relationship or a marriage, oh, by the way, I was never really planning to act like that or be like that. That was just an illusion I was creating. Well, high vibe people say, well, I'm not going to stay in it because of my ego, my image, and what people might say. I think you're not who you said you are, or you're not acting like how you presented yourself to be. And I adhere to a higher truth or justice. And I'm going to listen to my intuition and stand up for what I believe in. High vibe Aquarius energy. I'm willing to step outside of societal norms to bring needed change. And if there was someone who decided that they could take this foolish risk to repeat some poor past pattern of way of being in a relationship, yeah, no. I'm going to end a relationship with them. I've already been in relationships with people who act like that. And if you thought maybe because you knew I'd put up with that with other people that I put up with it with you, no. I've learned to leave because I've already learned that when people start to think that they can act in those shadowy ways of being, that they don't have good self-discipline within themselves. You indulge yourself in your more immature, self-centered, egotistical, bossy, controlling, whatever nature. And you do you, and I'm going to go do me. So there you go, Sagittarius energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.